Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Elis, and if there's one thing you should know about me is the fact that I love fast food. I love KFC. Unfortunately, KFC is not as delicious in Canada as it is in Iceland. I have tried so many times to order my favorite chicken sandwich here in Canada, and I'm always so sorely disappointed. So I came up with my own recipe for my favorite menu item, a Zinger chicken sandwich. I have tried so many versions of it. Some of them were way too complicated, way too convoluted. So I have managed to make it something really simple that shouldn't take too much of a time for anyone to make or be worried about having the right spices, because fuck those 11 spices, you don't need them for this recipe. So the first thing that we're gonna do is take 2 chicken breasts and flatten them out. I don't have a meat hammer or cleaver. I should probably own one. So I just use my rolling pin. It goes without saying, when you're handling poultry, you should always make sure that your hands are clean and that you clean your hands anytime after you have touched poultry. But something that a lot of people also miss, there can be a lot of contamination when you're handling poultry other than just your hands or your equipment. So for example, because we're going to be flattening out these chicken breasts, we're going to want to cover them with saran wrap so we can avoid splatter of possible salmonella getting everywhere. Glad saran wrap, not an ad. So since we are kind of formulating or modifying the chicken breast into patties, we want to flatten them out, tenderize them a bit, but we do not want them schnitzel thin, if you can say that. We want just a really appropriate amount of thinness, so it is perfect ratio to chicken, to breading, to the bun. Now that we've got our chicken breast to the desired thickness, we should split them up in halves so they would make the perfect piece to put between 2 buns. The thing with the chicken breast, as you tenderize them and flatten them out, you are not in full control of the shape that they're gonna make. So you will just go with what you get and make sure you have the amount that you desire. To me, this is the perfect size for a tenderized chicken breast, because once you've rolled it around in the batter and you deep fry it, it's gonna be a perfect amount of chicken, breading, and delicious spices to make the perfect Zinger KFC chicken sandwich. What you need next is a nice glass bowl, an egg, and you want to crack that egg into the bowl. Frank's hot sauce, because it is a safe bet to go with Frank's hot sauce. It is yummy, it is delicious. We're gonna use a 1/4 cup, and then we're gonna whisk it all together. Next thing you want to do is grab your tenderized chicken breast and place it in the bowl and let it marinate. Make sure to get all that sauce into every single crevice of the chicken breast. So now just place some saran wrap on top of the chicken and stick it into the fridge. I would marinate it for an hour or so. That has yielded amazing results for me. Do not marinate it for too long. It's not gonna make the chicken any tastier. The only thing it can possibly do is the vinegar in the hot sauce will possibly break down the protein structure of the meat. So you just want appropriate time of marination. So for the breading, to make this yummy crispy coat on your chicken, we will want to grab a nice metallic bowl. For the breading or the flour coating, I like to use Robin Hood's instant flour. The reason why I use Robin's instant flour, it is very finely ground and it just becomes crispier way quicker than a regular flour. And for about 2 chicken breasts, I need half a cup of Robin Hood's instant flour. In my instant flour, I also add 1 teaspoon of poultry seasoning. Since we're making Zinger chicken, we would like to add a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper to give the coating just this tiny little kick. And sodium is my best friend. I love everything salty, probably way too much. So I sprinkle a little bit of my favorite salt, Malden. Make sure to really finely grind it between your fingertips, because we also do not want big clumps of salt in there. And now we just mix it all together and set it aside while our chicken marinates. A Zinger chicken sandwich is not complete without KFC's pepper mayo. Honestly, that pepper mayo, it could sustain me for a lifetime. I love it so much. It has taken me so many tries to come up with the perfect way of replicating KFC's pepper mayo. So I am gonna show you how as well in this video. In my opinion, the best way to make KFC's pepper mayo is to use quality mayonnaise. You don't want very cheap off-brand mayonnaise. I know mayonnaise is just mayonnaise, but it's just a little bit better when it is a quality mayonnaise. It might be all in my head, but it has worked for me. And then of course you're gonna need peppercorns, and you're gonna want them freshly ground. I have tried to replicate this recipe by grinding them up with a pepper grinder, but I found out it doesn't properly infuse the mayo. So what I do is that I dump them into a blender and I pulverize them. This handy little blender is great for tasks like this. Once you've gotten your peppercorns finely ground, it is fine if there's some little rough pieces. It's just gonna give it a little bit of a kick. You're gonna mix it in with your mayo, obviously. And the trick here is do not skimp on the pepper. You want that mayo to be infused by pepper and taste like pepper mayo. I do not have the proper ratio of pepper to mayo. It's gonna have to be kind of to your liking, so just adjust it as you go. I know the way my pepper mayo looks like, it's gonna taste good to me. And also make the pepper mayo ahead of time, as the peppercorns kind of melt into the mayonnaise. It's just gonna make the mayo taste better, more peppery, and more like the KFC pepper mayo. I've seen recipes that call for lemon juice when you're trying to replicate the pepper mayo. I don't like it at all. I think it's completely unnecessary. And as I said before, I'm a sodium fiend, so sprinkle of salt in it is really gonna bring out the peppery mayo, and it's gonna be so delicious. Once your mayo is done, cover it in saran wrap or put it in a container of your liking and place it in the fridge. The flavors merge beautifully as it cools down, and we do not want to leave processed mayo out in the heat. An essential step of making a KFC, it's Kentucky Fried Chicken after all, is to fry your chicken. I have this wonderful deep fryer that I set to 350 that does half of the work for me. If you do not have a deep fryer, find a large pot or a large pan, preferably with a thick bottom, and put at least an inch or two of oil in there. The more you can put in there, the easier it is to fry. While the oil heats up, and I'm preheating the oven as well because we're gonna have curly fries with our KFC chicken sandwich. We're gonna go ahead and flour coat our chicken breast. So yeah, just grab it out of the bowl and dump it into the flour. Make sure to let it drip off a bit, because I've seen recipes that ask for a double coating or a triple coating. And honestly, if you do that, you're just going to end up with a way too big of a coat on it. And it's going to be just floury, bready coating. And it's going to be way too eggy and not just crispy, skinny coating. Really get that flour into all of the crevices, because that's gonna give your chicken breast that rough, crispy look as well. One thing in my experience as well is that even though you coat the chicken a little bit ahead of time, and when I say ahead of time, I mean at most half an hour before you fry it, letting it dry out a little bit will only make it crispier. Now that the oil is all warmed up, we're gonna place it into the deep fryer for about 12 to 16 minutes, depending on the thickness, or until the chicken pieces have reached the internal temperature of 165 Fahrenheit. Yeah, I'm here for you, America. I did Fahrenheit. Do not overcrowd the deep fryer. It's gonna change the temperature of the oil too much, so it's not gonna cook evenly in the period of time you need it to cook. You're gonna want to turn that fan on unless you want your entire kitchen to smell like a fried oil. Look at that. And the deep fryer is sizzling. Place the pieces of chicken on a cooling rack. I know this one doesn't look great, but I made it and it works. You're gonna want to let some of that extra oil just drip a little bit off of the chicken. And to keep it warm, place it in the oven of the lowest setting possible the oven is too hot, pry it open a little bit because you do not want to heat it up so it starts getting too gooey. You want it to stay crispy. Say hello to my subscribers, Heimdall. Hello. Hello. Little baby boy. Now, this wouldn't be a proper copycat KFC chicken sandwich if it wasn't on a sesame bun. We're gonna slather on some pepper mayo. I love pepper mayo too much, so I put on way too much. Some iceberg lettuce because we're staying true to the proper fast food version of it. A nice yummy piece of a fried spicy-ish white people spicy chicken. And here is what I do. It's not on the original menu item. I love adding some barbecue sauce because it really does complement the spiciness of the chicken and the mayo. Although I just love when things are messy. It's gonna get all over your face. And then another layer of a pepper mayo. Tell me that this doesn't look as good as KFC's chicken sandwiches. And also, this looks better. It is so good. Messy. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to this channel, turn on the notifications so you never miss a video. And if you would like to see more videos like this, because I have plenty more copycat fast food restaurant recipes, please let me know down below in the comments. And don't forget to follow me on my social media. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter and Snapchat. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.